Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, coming to you from Washington, D.C., Congressman Mark Amodei joins us for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
The 13th annual Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Nevada Mining Association, mining a better future for Nevada. Silver State Government Relations, we know Nevada, so you don't have to. And University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, offering the highest level of care in Nevada.
Rev it up during the $250,000 Cash and Wheels Guaranteed giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Thousands in cash and free play every Thursday and Saturday. Drive away with a 2025 Ford Bronco or $45,000 guaranteed. Rev it up at the Carson Valley Inn.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Washington, D.C. We are delighted, as always, to be joined by Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Good to see you at low altitude, Sam.
Thank you. That's a good line, sir. Let's start out with the National Guard on the streets of Washington, but on the D.C. waterfront. I'm thinking that's likely the safest place in Washington, D.C. What are your thoughts on the National Guard? Because I'm hearing from both sides.
Well, I mean, both sides have their talking points. I think the administration basically said, this is broke, and we don't have confidence in what's being done to fix it. And so we're going to use the authority that we think we have to try to change the situation. The status quo was not okay in their view. And you say, well, what are they doing messing around? It's like, well, it is the nation's capital. It is where, the chief executive and the whole administration is headquartered for all intents and purposes. So what the heck? This administration isn't known for, hey, let's just kind of do it the way we've always done it. So give it a chance.
Well, the mayor was pleased with the results. Carjackings down to 0, murder rate cut. But she said what she really needs is 800 more police officers. Any chance that you're going to appropriate that kind of money?
Well, not in the next 60 days. I'm pretty sure about that. But the other thing, Sam, is it's like, fine, but you got to have, it's like everything else that money's involved with, although nobody mentions. You got to have confidence in what you're going to do if you get the money, in this instance, for 800 more police officers. So how's management going to change from before, blah, 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 that sort of thing. It's interesting, the timing of when you hear, well, I need more resources after you've had these results. And of course, you want to sustain this. So if that's the best way to sustain it and there's confidence in how that will be managed by the D.C. government, then fine. If there's not, then everybody's going to have to work to get to some point that resembles that.
COVID vaccines. Walgreens and CVS in Nevada saying until they get federal approval, they can't take care of these COVID vaccines. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a personal thing that everybody, some people, fine, take the vaccines. Other people are like, absolutely not. So I think before you get to, we're going to wait until we make these available, I think it helps make that decision to go, here's what our demand is. So if I were CVS and Walgreens right now, for instance, in Carson City, I'd be saying, please sign up if you want one of these so that we can then go up our chain and say, there's a demand for these, the people want them, here you go. Instead of talking out there in the ether somewhere, it's like, if there's a concrete demand and there's people that want them, just by the same way you shouldn't force them on anybody, if somebody wants them, they ought to be available.
You know, it was interesting. My family took, or my wife and I at least, I should say, took the COVID vaccines initially and the booster shots. But the last couple of years, our family doctor recommended that getting the injection, the results of the injection will be worse than getting COVID. And so we didn't do it for the last couple of years. So is it not the family doctor that should be giving you the advice?
Well, I think so, but ultimately it's the individual. Are you going to do what your doc says or are you not? And so I respect how everybody comes to that individual decision. But in order to say, well, what are you going to do with those vaccines? I think you have to demonstrate a need so that the solution can fit the need, as opposed to just, we need to ship 50,000 out, and it's like, well, you ship 50,000 and guess what? 2,000 were used. We want to kind of try to measure that before we have a solution.
You're working on the appropriations right now, and I appreciate you taking time out from that to be here this morning. What can you share with where you are on the appropriations bills right now?
Well, by the end of today, the House Appropriations Committee will have all 12 appropriation bills out of committee. What happens now in terms of what leadership does, because you got to have floor time if you're going to do those. We put 3 bills across the floor so far. We've done Ledge Branch, we've done Milk on VA, and we've done agriculture. And so I think we're going to vote to go to conference this week or next week with the Senate. That conference process will then give us the vehicle to start conferencing with the Senate on not just those 3 bills, but other bills as well. So we're not going to make the September 30th deadline. There will be a CR. Hopefully just one. They're still wrestling about whether that's November. The White House yesterday, I think, said we want it till January 1st. Personally, I think shorter is better. You don't want it so short that it doesn't, if you say, well, it's till June, it's like, well, everybody can relax. We'll see in February maybe.
Right.
We'll start talking again. So I think you need to keep that heat on. I like the idea of November.
But you don't see any government shutdown?
Well, I mean, I don't know, Sam. There's a lot of people that agree. And listen, I'm a guy who years ago voted for a government shutdown more than once. I don't vote for them anymore because for the simple fact that in my experience, they don't work. And what changes from when you shut it down to when you start it up is it's been actually more expensive and nothing changed in the policy stuff. So I hope there's not one. But the folks who are in the headlines all the time are rattling sabers still. So we'll see. It's not, if I had to bet, I'd bet that there won't be. But I'll tell you what, sometimes things careen out based on the talking point wars, which is dumb, but anyhow.
Let's talk about the Apex bill in Southern Nevada for North Las Vegas. I felt it was kind of like the miracle that Catherine Cortez Masto and Stephen Horsford worked together, got it passed by unanimous consent in both houses, and the president signed it. What does that say to you about the possibility of things actually being done in a bipartisan fashion when it makes sense?
Now and then that happens. Amazing, isn't it? And these days, amazing. But that's why we keep pushing with stuff like that, where it's like, we're not asking for a favor on this issue or that issue. We think it makes sense objectively, and so you should keep pushing it.
Let's talk mining, the Rosemont decision. Please explain the effects and what you consider the remedies are.
Well, the Rosemont decision was specific to a Forest Service permit. And so you say, well, okay, it doesn't apply to BLM. Well, arguably it doesn't. But then arguably it's like, well, it's precedent. And it basically says you can't use other federal land adjacent to a permitted project for ancillary uses to the project that was permitted.
And this is mining.
Yes, and so it's like waste dumps and stuff like that when you're moving large amounts, large tonnages, yardages of earth. And so what it required was, because this court was out there, is like, so, they say, well, there is no appeal from that. It's like, well, actually there is. You go to Congress and pass a law that basically undoes that decision. So that's what we've been working on since the Rosemont decision. It's not controversial in the House. It was a victory for the NGO environmental people, because what it effectively did, Sam, was it shut down mining. And so they were probably popping champagne corks a couple years ago when that came down. But the fact of the matter is that's the way it's been done, and not just because it's always been done that way. It's been done, and rightfully, and with predictability and stability. So it was just kind of an end run to say, to give the bird to mining in general. So the legislation that fixes that is something we've passed out of the House several times. We expect to pass it again here in the next 30 days, again out of the House, and we expect a favorable reception in the Senate.
So you don't have any great concerns for Lithium Americas, for example, with their project up at Thacker Pass because of this?
Nope.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Congressman Mark Amodei after this timeout. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail. This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation from Washington, D.C. with Congressman Mark Amodei. Town halls for Republicans have been controversial over the last year or two. And the question comes up frequently, when is Mark Amodei going to do another town hall? What are your thoughts on doing town halls?
Well, town halls have become completely weaponized in my experience. And if you think back, it's one of those things where you go to get input from people on what issues are. You don't come to get yelled at. You don't come to get talking pointed. You don't come to get gotcha'd and all that stuff. And that's what they've become. So I've said from the beginning of when this, it's like, I'm not going to do one. I mean, I've done those. I did one with Dean Heller where we did it at the convention center, paid the going rate for what security was because the Convention and Visitors Authority requires that. And then basically said it's not enough, so we rented more space, enough for 600 people, and we had people bust in from Las Vegas and from over the hill in California, and there was a bunch of Nevadans that couldn't get into it. I mean, I walked through probably 500 or 600 people to walk in the front door, and they were all mad because it was full. The fire department had said no more. We're full, and you get in there, and a whole bunch of people aren't even from the district for me. And so it's like, hey, they get plenty of chances to yell at me in the normal course of stuff without me doing a formal one. We're as accessible as people are in terms of, we do impromptu town halls at Home Depot, in the grocery store, whatever the heck. So if it's about accessibility, with all due respect, I don't travel around with an entourage or anything like that, but I'm not doing a formal town hall to get yelled at. It's like, I get it. I get all the input, all the nice objective stuff off the internet. People routinely write in about how they think I stink. As the only Republican in the delegation, it's like, we take plenty of input from people who are not fans, so I'm not feeling like we're insulated in any way, shape, or form.
Recently, as you know, the president has received the $400 million jet from Qatar.
Yeah.
And will need millions of dollars to be spent on retrofitting it before it can be used as Air Force One. You're a former military guy, Homeland Security now. What are your thoughts on accepting the plane, and will it not have to be stripped down to the bolts to look for any devices of listening variety?
Well, nobody asked my opinion on the ins and outs before they did that sort of thing. But I think there are phenomenal considerations, huge numbers of considerations, which you kind of get at when you say, does it need to be stripped down to the bolts? It's like, well, I don't know what the security protocols are, but for Air Force One, I would assume they're phenomenally significant. I think that might have been one of the areas where, if you were given a do-over, maybe the administration ought to take a do-over. But it's pretty clear, I don't think that's the way they're headed. You know, my question, Sam, is, listen, you got 4 years. We're already a year through it. It's like, it's going to take a Herculean effort to do anything on that scale in that amount of time.
Absolutely, because it's really been from one administration to the next when you do try to order new presidential planes. Let me ask you about this. You know, as I said, you're on Homeland Security, appropriations. When you look at the fact that the United States has supplied so much weaponry to both Israel and the Ukraine in the last few years, to where we're not out of ammunition, but we are basically going to have to restock everything in this country. Then you've got the president raising the rates for all the European companies, the NATO countries, to up their budgets, and they're all going to be buying from the United States. Have we turned into a war economy, basically? Nobody's really brought that up. But
No,
I mean,
you're the first.
If you're a defense contractor, this is a good day.
Well, it is, except that we now know it's not one of those things where, like, those plants are sitting there and it's like, hey, just send a couple of train loads of raw materials in and turn the lights on and crank it up. You got to have machines, you got to have people, you got to have supply chain, you got to have all that stuff. And so, and then the predictability and stability of those markets, Sam, where you're like, well, this administration wants this. What's the next administration going to want? I don't even know who the next administration is going to be. And so when you sit there and talk to those business people about that, it's not like the 1940s again, where you can go to General Motors and say, we want you to start building Corsairs instead of Chevys, and they can retool and make all that stuff happen. It's way slower than that now. So I think the answer to, is it a wartime economy? I don't think we have the ability to go, okay, yeah, we're going to pick that, get out all the green uniforms today, and we're going to go do those sorts of things. So I don't think we can pivot that quickly for that sort of stuff. Now, I'd like to be wrong, and I hope I am, but I don't think the ability to generate those war stores, if you will, is something that is just instantly, you can summon that up.
Let's take another break. We'll be back with Congressman Amodei after this timeout.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Washington, D.C., we're talking with Congressman Mark Amodei of CD2. We've seen, essentially, at least for the public, that the southern border is shut down. And for years, we talked about having comprehensive immigration reform, which I always felt would go nowhere because nobody was going to decide on both sides of this. But now you've got it shut down. Is this not the time for Congress, not the president, but Congress, to say, okay, let's do the other side of this and figure out how to make a logical, reasonable 2025 plan for allowing people to come in for construction, for service jobs, agriculture. Is there any talk in Congress of anybody stepping up at this point?
You know, I agree with you completely. Congress needs to act. It is Congress's responsibility. It's in the Constitution. But I think in order for somebody to step up, because it's become so politicized, that in order for somebody to step up, the administration needs to say, I want this, and I want you to start working on it. That gives the cover to, because you know, Sam, on my side, I mean, I've been accused of being a pro-immigration Republican. My God, whatever that is. But whenever somebody talks about something, even the president says something, you know, maybe some of these folks are not a priority for ICE. And then you've got the folks on the talk show circuit that are like, oh my God, start screaming amnesty before you've even finished the sentence. It's been 35 years, if I'm wrong, it's only by a year or two, since President Reagan. And so you're sitting there going, I think a few things have changed since those days. We absolutely, without a doubt, need to update that. It's Congress's responsibility. We should do it. But I'll tell you what, John Boehner, Paul Ryan, President Speaker, Mike Johnson, it's like, come on. And then the folks on the other side, I've worked with some of them. There's some responsible folks. Jimmy Panetta was one of them. I voted for one of his bills on the ag stuff a few Congresses ago because it was well thought out and whatever. But you need somebody to show the political courage to go, here you go. Paulina Luna from Florida is working on a bill, but she's swimming upstream. And it's not that she's doing a bad thing, but I mean, somebody needs to go, hey, we really need to do this as a housekeeping thing. And the most ironic thing about it, Sam, is most of the immigration stuff is not that hard. There are common sense. It's not like healthcare with a ton of moving pieces.
Not when you make it legal.
Well, here's the stuff. The answers are all out there. You just need the political courage. And so you say, well, what's that mean? That means there's not a lot of political courage about it right now.
One of the things that I feel is connected to this is that as we look to save Social Security and Medicare, you need X amount of workers working to be able to support the people who are retiring. And we don't have that. So don't we need immigration, legal immigration, to be able to boost that? And don't we need it too for the ideas and the enthusiasm of immigrants who are literally dying to come to this country.
Well, that's a part of the puzzle. But at the same time, when you need Social Security reform too. I mean, God, you want to talk about political courage? You know, when it was started, all the premises were that people were dead by 65, so they set it at 65 and all that other sort of stuff. That needs a look too, but everybody's, boy, I just hope it isn't happening on my watch. And that's not a political solution. But immigration, that's one of the byproducts of it. But immigration, even if there was no Social Security issue, it's been since Reagan, a few things have changed.
And the need is great.
Yeah.
We've got about 30 seconds left. Congressman Horsford went to Pahrump to visit the ICE facility there. He was turned back for 3 weeks until he alleges that they cleaned up their act there. What did you think about that, just as a fellow Nevadan and a fellow congressman?
Well, as the chairman of the Homeland Committee,
yeah.
I can tell you that I've talked to ICE, and they've got a story to tell too. No disrespect to Stephen, and they've also got tapes of what happened. And so there's two sides to that story, and we're going to respond formally to Stephen on that. And listen, I'm big on oversight, so I'm on his side on oversight. I'll just say there's two sides to the story of the Pahrump visit. Leave it at that.
Well, please come back soon and let's talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you for your time today. I know you were really pressed, so I appreciate it. We'll be back after this time out.
It's a good time to eat. It's a good time to play.
It's a good time to win.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience. Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
The 13th annual Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Nevada Mining Association, mining a better future for Nevada. Silver State Government Relations, we know Nevada, so you don't have to. And University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, offering the highest level of care in Nevada.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers from Washington, D.C. On our next broadcast, Congresswoman Susie Lee will join us. We'll see you then.